Ben-Hur has always been one of Hollywood's greatest legends. But behind the glory of the Oscar statuettes, time cruelly pushed the stars of that era into tragedies no one could have expected. Some passed away in loneliness, some carried heartbreaking pain until the very final days of their lives. In 2026, let's look back at the cast of Ben-Hur, then and now, to uncover the secrets and cruel fates of the stars we once admired. Quintus Arrius was played by Jack Hawkins at the age of 49. Proud, commanding, and shaped by Roman discipline, Arrius became the powerful naval commander whose fate unexpectedly crossed with Judah Ben-Hur's life. Jack Hawkins passed away in 1973 at the age of 62. His real-life story carried its own tragedy, as throat cancer took away much of his natural voice. Yet he continued acting with the help of dubbing and remarkable screen presence. Arrius mattered because he changed the course of Ben-Hur's destiny. In a film filled with revenge, faith, and survival, his bond with Judah gave the story one of its first great turns toward redemption. Messala was played by Stephen Boyd at the age of 28. Ambitious, intense, and consumed by Roman power, he turned a broken friendship into one of the most personal rivalries in epic cinema. Stephen Boyd passed away in 1977 at the age of 45. His death came far too early, cutting short a career that had shown both leading man charisma and a gift for playing men driven by pride, danger, and inner conflict. Messala remains unforgettable because his cruelty was never just political. Beneath the armor and arrogance was a friendship destroyed by ambition, which made his final confrontation with Ben-Hur feel deeply personal. Miriam was played by Martha Scott at the age of 47. Gentle, dignified, and deeply devoted to her family, Miriam carried the quiet suffering of a mother caught in the cruel machinery of empire. Martha Scott passed away in 2003 at the age of 90. Her career stretched from stage to classic Hollywood film, and many viewers also remember her as the mother figure in the Ten Commandments, another grand biblical epic. Miriam's strength came from endurance rather than power. Through loss, illness, and faith, she gave Ben-Hur its most intimate kind of pain, the pain of a family torn apart and still hoping to be whole again. Simonides was played by Sam Jaffe at the age of 68. Wise, loyal, and quietly unbroken, he became one of the few figures who kept faith with Judah Ben-Hur after everything had been taken from him. Sam Jaffe passed away in 1984 at the age of 93. Long before and after Ben-Hur, he brought intelligence and gravitas to memorable roles, including the wise Gunga Din and the scientist Dr. Zorba on Ben Casey. Simonides gave the story a sense of old loyalty that survived suffering. His broken body did not weaken his spirit, and that quiet devotion helped make Judah's return feel larger than revenge alone. Pontius Pilate was played by Frank Thring at the age of 33. Cold, polished, and politically watchful, he brought a sharp Roman elegance to a figure surrounded by power, judgment, and uneasy history. Frank Thring passed away in 1994 at the age of 68. Australian audiences knew him as a striking stage and screen presence, and his commanding style made him a natural fit for roles wrapped in authority and theatrical menace. Pilate's scenes carried a different kind of weight. He was not part of Judah's private revenge, but his presence placed the story inside a much larger world of empire, faith, and history. Tiberius Caesar was played by George Relf at the age of 71. Frail, powerful, and surrounded by the cold weight of empire, he brought a weary authority to Rome's highest throne. George Relf passed away in 1960 at the age of 72. His final screen years carried a quiet poignancy, as Ben-Hur became one of the last major appearances of a career rooted in British stage tradition. Tiberius appears briefly, but his presence reminds viewers how small one man's suffering can seem beneath the machinery of empire. In Judah's story, Rome was not just an enemy, it was a world that could crush lives with a single decision. Judah Ben-Hur was played by Charlton Heston at the age of 36. Proud, wounded, and driven by betrayal, he carried the film's epic journey from privilege to slavery, vengeance, and finally, spiritual redemption. Charlton Heston passed away in 2008 at the age of 84. His performance in Ben-Hur became one of the defining roles of his career, earning him the Academy Award for Best Actor and securing his place in Hollywood epic history. Judah Ben-Hur endures because his story is larger than revenge. Through the chariot race, the years of suffering, and the final turn toward faith, Heston gave the film a hero shaped by pain, but not destroyed by it. Sheik Ilderim was played by Hugh Griffith at the age of 47. Colorful, shrewd, and full of theatrical life, he brought warmth and cunning to the world surrounding the legendary chariot race. Hugh Griffith passed away in 1980 at the age of 67. His performance as Sheikh Ilderim won him the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor, giving the film one of its most memorable and energetic supporting figures. Ilderim brought a spark of humor and strategy into a story filled with suffering and power. His confidence in Judah helped turn the chariot race into more than a spectacle. It became a chance for justice. Tirza was played by Cathy O'Donnell at the age of 36. Fragile, innocent, and caught in a punishment she never deserved, Tirza gave Judah's suffering a deeply personal face. Cathy O'Donnell passed away in 1970 at the age of 46. Her early death made her screen legacy feel especially bittersweet, with performances remembered for their softness, sincerity, and emotional vulnerability. Tirza's story is painful because she represents the family Judah lost to Rome's cruelty. Her quiet suffering gave the film some of its most human moments, far away from the chariots, armies, and grand spectacle. Sextus was played by André Morel at the age of 50. Stern, disciplined, and loyal to Roman order, he brought a firm military presence to the world that surrounded Judah's downfall. André Morel passed away in 1978 at the age of 69. British audiences knew him from a wide range of stage, film, and television work, including his memorable role as Professor Quatermass in classic science fiction television. Sextus helped reinforce the cold structure of Roman power. In Ben-HUR, even the smaller Roman figures mattered, because each one made Judah's fight against injustice feel heavier and more dangerous. Moloch was played by Adi Berber at the age of 46. Strong, watchful, and physically imposing, he gave Simonides' household a sense of protection and silent loyalty. Adi Berber passed away in 1966 at the age of 53. Before acting, he had been a professional wrestler, and that powerful physical presence carried naturally into his screen roles. Maluka did not need many words to make an impression. His strength, stillness, and loyalty helped make the world around Simonides feel guarded, tense, and deeply faithful to Judah's cause. Flavia was played by Marina Berti at the age of 35. Elegant, poised, and surrounded by the polished world of Roman power, she added a refined presence to the film's grand historical setting. Marina Berti passed away in 2002 at the age of 78. Italian audiences knew her from decades of film work, and she became familiar in international productions that brought European performers into large-scale Hollywood epics. Flavia may not stand at the center of Judah's journey, but her presence helps complete the world around him. In a film as vast as Ben-HUR, even the quieter figures add texture to the empire, the society, and the age being brought to life. Chief of Rowers was played by Robert Brown at the age of 38. Stern, physical, and hardened by life aboard the Roman galley, he helped make Judah's years as a slave feel brutal and unforgettable. Robert Brown passed away in 2003 at the age of 82. Many viewers later recognized him as M in the James Bond films, where his commanding presence again placed him inside a world of authority, duty, and danger. The galley scenes remain some of the harshest moments in Ben-HUR. Through figures like the Chief of Rowers, the film made viewers feel the weight of chains, exhaustion, and survival before Judah's life changed again. Jewish Slave in the Desert was played by Lando Buzanka at the age of 23. Though his role was small, his presence belonged to one of the film's most punishing stretches, where thirst, suffering, and mercy shaped Judah's path. Lando Buzanka passed away in 2022 at the age of 87. He later became a well-known name in Italian cinema and television, especially for roles that showed a very different side from his brief appearance in this biblical epic. That desert sequence stays with viewers because it strips the story down to human need. A small role within it still carries the atmosphere of pain, endurance, and the moment of compassion that changes Judah forever. Esther was played by Haya Harareet at the age of 28. Gentle, devoted, and quietly courageous, she became the emotional light in Judah Ben-HUR's long journey through betrayal, suffering, and revenge. Haya Harareet passed away in 2021 at the age of 89. Born in what is now Israel, she became internationally known through Ben-HUR, a rare role that connected her name forever with one of Hollywood's greatest epics. Esther's strength was never loud, but it carried the heart of the story. While Judah was pulled toward vengeance, her love, faith, and compassion helped guide the film toward healing and redemption. The chariot race may have ended, but the legacy of Ben-HUR still lives on, through the actors who made it unforgettable. Thank you for watching, and subscribe for more classic Hollywood cast, then and now, stories.